want you guys to feel the confidence, be bold, and share your true life experience with drugs. What's going on around you? What's going on with your friends? You know that they're doing drugs. Some of them might have got shot. Some of them might have, gotten into fights over that kind of thing. Anybody else care to be real today? Let me show you something. See this? I got marijuana tatted on my arm. You see it in my back? Check it out. I got marijuana tatted on my back. I used to blow trees like I had no sense, right? And you know what? Today, I'm dealing with the residual effects of the marijuana smoke. I forget so much. When I was doing drugs, I wasn't in my right mind. And a lot of people say, oh, but you can't get addicted to weed. And, it's not a real big problem because, I can handle it. And if I want to quit, I could quit if I want to. But I'm going to tell you something. It ain't that easy. A drug is a drug, right? And marijuana is sort of kind of like a gateway drug. It can lead to other drugs, right? And so here's the deal. If we make a decision, right, to engage in that kind of drug activity, what we're doing is we're destroying our brain and eventually our future. And it really impacted my life, so much so that I, just ended up making a lot of bad decisions in this world, ended up embracing the streets, and eventually ended up in prison because of a series of bad decisions and so forth. This drug is real and is out to get us.
My dad, he smoked weed. He ended up in jail a couple times for it. For the first 5 years of my life, I didn't know who my dad was, and I didn't have a father figure in my life.
My mama, she real bad with alcohol. Like, my mom has been in and out of prison. See, I lived with my mom before. She's kicked me out 3 times. I'd have to go live with my friend or something.
My biological father, when I was a baby, he would always drink. He still does. And he would beat my mom and my older brother. My older brother was like my dad. And because he started doing drugs, he just faded from me.
My mom was with this one guy, Jeff, and he would drink like every weekend, and then he would come home and beat me.
My dad drinks really bad. Whenever he gets mad, he'll hit us and all the time. That's the reason why my parents split up.
My older sister's biological father overdosed on heroin or cocaine 5 times, and he's still alive and still does it.
And one day my mom comes to me and tells me this member of the family had to go to rehab because he's on heroin. And then it happened 2 more times. And I saw how it destroyed that section of the family, how it tore them apart.
I was a paramedic in this area for a long time. I spent 25 years at Station 1, which is right over on 10th Street. I have seen both ends of this. I was stationed out in this part of town during the crack epidemic and saw many a young person go down as a result of it.
From my perspective here, obviously I run into overdoses all the time. I show up on them. A lot of times I'm administering Narcan to a lot of people who are going through opiate overdoses, trying to help them through it, trying to make sure they get the help they need when I can.
I was introduced to heroin in my 20s, and it was a really quick addiction. It basically took over my life in about a week, and I've been battling it for about 4 years. It's one of those things where it's a continuous journey. I hopefully one day will feel recovered, but like I said, I'm still recovering.
My most important job is mother. I have 2 sons. I'm also married for 44 years. One of my sons is an addict, and I lost him in 2008.
Some folks have been fortunate enough to get the treatment that they needed to get away from it. And they are truly fortunate. Unfortunately, I get to see the ones that don't make it to that point. Quite often, the last person they see is me. That's a heck of a feeling to have. And I'm looking at young faces like yours that have gotten into that position thinking, hey, I'm tougher than this. You can't beat chemistry.
It is everywhere. It's not just the inner city. It's out in the suburbs. It's with the rich, the poor, the very intelligent people, doctors, nurses, school teachers.
I guarantee you, you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. It is everywhere. In the last 4 years, I've lost 8 friends.
And I remember my son one time told me, the first time I did it, I was curious, and I just wanted to see what it was like. I continued to do it to keep from being sick, because they get the flu-like symptoms, the diarrhea, the vomiting, the body aches, everything. They get that, and it's so powerful.
For some information, he had mentioned fentanyl. Fentanyl is a drug that is used for pain. We give it quite often. However, heroin and fentanyl is a death sentence. It stops your lungs from breathing, and you die. It's that simple.
Why do you think there's a lot of teen drug abuse in today's society, like as in going on right now?
There's an old saying that curiosity killed a cat. Curiosity with drugs will kill you. Plain and simple. The idea that you are strong enough to overcome it is a fallacy. It chemically changes your brain. So you get to a point that you think, in order just to maintain, just to be a regular person, you have to have it. That's where you're dead. It's just a matter of time.
When you see your friends and peers doing these things, what do you do? Like, what do you say to try and convince them that this is wrong, beyond drugs are bad and they kill?
The only thing you can really do is explain to your friend that you are worried and that, you know, it's a life or death. It could be a life or death thing, and you would not want to see that because you care about them. That's all you can do, is give them support and the care that they need, because they might not be getting it anywhere else. So maybe it's your turn to step up and ask them, hey, how are you? What's going on in your life where this is becoming an issue?
So at the school that I go to, which is a recovery high school, what we do there is we pretty much live the life of recovery, but as a school. So a lot of the things that I encounter is people either bringing drugs in or coming in high. And a lot of those people are my friends. So really, if somebody's gonna bring stuff around you, then you just gotta go somewhere else. You gotta stop being with those people.
So I want to hear from you guys. What are some creative things that we can do as a team, as a body of people that is tired of seeing the effects of drugs? What are some things that we could do to combat that, to fight against that kind of thing?
Something I think that I've seen help is completely removing yourself from the situation, not just stop hanging out with certain people, leave.
Some people just like use drugs as the solution to the problem instead of like seeing drugs as the problem itself. So the greater problem needs to be addressed as well.
To stay away from drugs, you could like find a hobby or something that you love to do. Like if you love to play sports, you can go to the basketball court and find plenty of people playing sports that don't do anything like that.
This organization goes out, I'm sure, and gets the attention of the younger people, is able to connect with them. You can't really connect with everybody because either they're scared or they're nervous or they just aren't into it. And a lot of adults are like, y'all are out here doing whatever, but they don't try and help. But the adults actually try to help communicate with them, like be able to like stop the negativity and like drug abuse.
Many people at my church who have gone through or who have been drug addicts for like a long time, like this one lady, she was a drug addict for 40 years and got delivered from it. But one of the major things that they talk about is them getting impacted and actually getting involved in the community. So the more you have to do the less time you have to do the stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. So if you were to go and help them find jobs or like help them do stuff, then they would actually have less time on their hands to mess up.
Wanted to say that I thought this event was wonderful because the kids were very transparent. They had some wonderful questions and ideas. The panel gave a lot of great feedback.
It's a perfect opportunity, especially for the youth nowadays. They're getting a lot of information through social media, through other outlets that make it seem like drugs are okay, more than ever. You know, we had it back out in the 80s and 90s where you had plenty of weed use and things like that, but it's a lot worse today. And I'm glad to have an opportunity to be here, to be involved with this group, to help these kids look forward and do something positive with their lives when maybe their lives are surrounded about a lot of negativity.
It's important to keep youth at the center of the conversation. A lot of our youth are going to be forced to make that decision about whether or not they're going to do drugs and what drugs that they're going to do. So if they have to make the decision either way, I think it's best that they're able to make an informed decision. It's really wonderful to hear youth come up with ideas on their own about ways that they can address this issue within their community. It gets them thinking about what can we do as a group? How can we work together and move forward to help prevent things like this from happening in our community?
So I hope that we can take some value out of this today. This will be the first conversation we have in the community, and that the young people here will be the mentors and the leaders that we need to start to make some of these changes occur.
This is important. I like to see more of this, and hopefully I can have an opportunity to do more of it in the future.